The GOAT of anime is back. Hey everyone, welcome to Prince the Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with episode 1 of Lazarus, the new series by Shinichiro Watanabe. And you should all know that name. One of the most legendary directors of anime ever. He is the same man who created Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, Space Dandy, and one of my favorites of all time, Carol and Tuesday. This is a true legend of the business. And while I'm not like the biggest fan of all of his works, I acknowledge how important they have been. Cowboy Bebop alone is one of the most influential and important anime ever, really. And while Samurai Champloo never reached the same heights, there are still many who not only look back on it fondly, but who see it as just as good as Cowboy Bebop, an underrated classic. Space Dandy is considered one of the better comedy anime out there, and Carol and Tuesday is probably his most underrated series, considering how, unfortunately, Netflix fucked it over due to it being, not released until 6 months after it started airing in Japan in the West. It was a really fucked up situation and completely destroyed all momentum for the series. And now, this new series is being broadcast on Adult Swim here in America. However, we will not be reacting to the dub. I wanted to react to the original Japanese for this, which was a mistake that I am sticking with. Because, God, was this hard to find in Japanese. I was looking everywhere. And I kept finding all of the copies of the dub, like taken from, Adult Swim and everything. And some sites didn't even have that. Despite the episode coming out like 3 days ago now. The first episode. And I had to look and look. I eventually found one that's in Japanese, but then I couldn't download it. And then I found another, and it's like, okay, I downloaded it, but it didn't have the subtitles on the file. The subtitles were part of the on-browser video thing. You know what I mean. The player. Rather than the file itself. And so there is actually a way to get the subtitle file for any video, any player on a page. It's this cool little trick that you do and everything, and by bringing up the inspect element and whatnot on your browser. And so I did that. I got the subtitle file, and it's working. I tested it out briefly. It's working. I wasn't really paying attention to what was being said, so I don't have spoilers. I just kind of made sure that it was synced with the dialogue and that it was showing up in the first place. And this is not the first time I've had to do this, weirdly enough, where I've had to get a separate subtitle file. It's rare, but it has happened. But the website I found this on will probably work for getting the episodes. I'll just have to do the trick to get the subtitled file. Unless this starts showing up on other sites. And one of the reasons I didn't go for the dub is I looked up the dub cast. And although I like the dub actors, one of them is Lucy Christian, who was in, she's the English dub voice of Nami in One Piece. And she was also in Ruby and many, many other things. Actually, I think, isn't she, she might be Uraraka Ochiko in My Hero. I think she is. But she's in a lot of things. She's a pretty known one. And I like her and a lot of the other VAs who are in it, but none of them really like gripped me. It's like I don't need to see this in dub. This isn't something that is like I'm super invested in seeing the dub for. I would rather watch this in sub. And that's kind of how a lot of my feelings for whether or not I'm going to watch a show in dub or not go. It's like most of the time I'll probably do sub, but if I've heard like the show's dub is really good or if there's VAs in it I really really love, then I'll check it out in the dub. Or if I'm just feeling it for some reason based on what the show is. Um but this one I'm going to initially check out in the Japanese. And I'll see the dub, I'm sure, because I'm sure other people's reactions will probably be to the dub. But yeah, I'm very interested to see this. Now, what do I actually know about this series? I don't know a lot, but I know the very basic premise. This is the premise that the series was sold on, like years ago. This series was in the works for years. Um, and this is the basic premise, from what I know. There's a miracle drug. The drug can cure anything. It is literally a miracle drug. But it shortens the lifespan of whoever takes it. It's a side effect that it's not originally said to have, and so it starts like causing problems when it starts showing up. And that's all I know. That's all I know about it, because that is the original premise it was sold on. I do know the title is obviously named after the biblical character of Lazarus. For those who may not know, who aren't Christian and don't know the biblical stories, Lazarus was a friend of Jesus's, who Jesus rose from the dead. I believe he was the brother of Mary Magdalene, I want to say. Um, but Jesus rose him from the dead. And so the idea of like that kind of thing is probably going to be in this series. Maybe not like specifically rising from the dead in that kind of manner, but maybe it just connects to the entire aspect of the medicine and curing any disease and stuff. I believe Lazarus was also used as a like the title of like a project, some kind of big medical like immortality project in Doctor Who. I want to say it was David Tennant's run as the Doctor. It was like the Lazarus Project or something like that. Um, I believe it was also a very divisive episode. There's some people who did actually really enjoy it, like myself, and then some people really didn't like it. But there's a few of those in Doctor Who, especially during David Tennant's run. A lot of people consider David Tennant to be the best modern Doctor, but he also has some of the more divisive episodes. Um, but yeah, I'm very excited to see um, what this series is like. I've been super hyped for this since it was first announced. Like I said, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Shinichiro Watanabe, I acknowledge his like works are just that important. And on top of it, I mean, one of his works is one of my favorite shows of all time, Carol and Tuesday. Like I reacted to that back when that came out, and it blew me away in every sense. So I'm really hoping for the same with this. Uh, I believe this is a more like serious tone one. I guess. I mean, I guess all of his shows have some level of comedy to even the more serious ones. Like Cowboy Bebop is more serious than like Space Dandy, obviously, but even more serious than like Carol and Tuesday. I would consider Space Dandy and Carol and Tuesday the lighter shows that he's done, while Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo to be the more serious toned ones, just overall, with obviously some exceptions here and there, but still, just because so he again, there's comedy in all of it, but I feel like this is going to be closer to the likes of Cowboy Bebop, which I'm fine with. As long as it's still good, that's fine. And I have faith that it will be good. One last thing to note is that Shinichiro Watanabe is also very known for being progressive as hell. A lot of his works have, if not all of his works actually, have queer characters in them. I know Cowboy Bebop, Carol and Tuesday, and Space Dandy have queerness in them. I think, I want to say that Samurai Champloo doesn't, but I'm not 100% on that. It might. I saw it like once. And it's been years. But not only just stuff like that, but it touches on a lot of like cultural and even political progressive ideologies and messages and whatnot. There's a lot of big cultural stuff with Samurai Champloo. Obviously, Cowboy Bebop touched on a lot. And Carol and Tuesday was like probably the most progressive of his shows. To be fair. And Space Dandy just did whatever the fuck it wanted. Now, I know this is Studio Mappa doing the animation, but the rest of the production is done by a different company. I don't remember what their name was. So there's that. And I guess like Adult Swim helped produce a lot of it too, since they're the ones putting it out. But I guess we'll see how well this ends up being. I'm like I said, I'm very excited. I'm really interested to see what this story is in depth outside of just the very basic synopsis. And I feel like they could really nail this series if they get things just right. And I have all the faith in the world because it's a Shinichiro Watanabe series. So with all of that being said, and with no further ado, let's get into it. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I'm looking up the cast right now, and so let's start with Mamoru Miyano, who is Axel's actor. Oh god, apparently he has a lot. He has his own page. So Mamoru Miyano is apparently in Wolf's Rain. I've heard of that. I've never actually seen it. Was in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Was the Japanese voice of Light Yagami in Death Note. Tamaki in Ouran High School Host Club. Death the Kid in Soul Eater. A lot of big names here. Ling Yao in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. A lot of shows that I watched the English dub for. Masayomi Kita in Durarara. Okabe in Steins Gate. Again, all ones that I vastly prefer the English for. But I've definitely heard his voice then in a lot of things. Oh, here's one I've seen in both Japanese and English. Hunter x Hunter. He's Crollo Lucifer from the Phantom Troop. So there's one I definitely would know him for. Um, oh, apparently he's Rin Matsuoka in Free. Again, watch that in the dub. A lot of things I've heard of but never have seen. Oh, he's Shu Sukiyama in Tokyo Ghoul. Asano in Assassination Classroom. Harada in Death Parade. Sweet Mask in One Punch Man. He's been in a lot. Kei Nagai in Ajin Demi-Human. Yeah, he's a huge name. Okay. So it makes sense that they would get him, being as big of a name as he is. Like, God, there's just so many here. There's Okabe again for Steins Gate Zero. Kotaro Tatsumi from Zombieland Saga. He's Ertegun in Carol and Tuesday. He was actually in another series by Watanabe. He was Ertegun. Of course he was Ertegun. I can hear it. Oh, he's Benimaru in Fire Force. Another one I watched the dub in, but still. Um, we're actually going to be starting that next week. The new season. Oh, he's in the Urusei Yatsura remake. Ranma 1/2 remake as well. Oh, he's also in Zenshu. Oh, that's cool. And there's this other series, 2B Hero X, that I've heard about. So that's interesting too. He's in a Miyano's in a lot. He was Axel. Doug was Makoto Furukawa, who's Saitama in One Punch Man. That's hilarious. That was Saitama. And yeah, Saitama is definitely one I have seen in the Japanese. Oh, he's Taiju in Doctor Stone. Oh shit. Doug is Taiju? That's crazy. I would have never guessed that. That's awesome. Chris, meanwhile, is Maya Uchida. Maya Uchida, let's see, Love, Chinibyo, and Other Delusions, Noragami. Hiyori Iki, is that the main girl in Noragami? I don't remember. Oh, she was in The World God Only Knows. She was in Wandering Sun. Oh, wow, that's cool. Um, Again, a lot of stuff I've heard of, but I've never actually seen. She was Alika Zoldyck in Hunter x Hunter. Hell yeah. Okay. Oh, she was in Ore Monogatari? That's cool. Anything else I really know? This is Chris again, by the way. Chris is VA. Goblin Slayer, apparently. Promised Neverland. She was Norman in Promised Neverland. Uh... She's in Comey Can't Communicate as a few characters. Bochi the Rock, Urusei Yatsura. Oh, she's Angel. She's the Angel Devil in Chainsaw Man. Oh, okay. That's fun. Anything else? Not that I'm really seeing. I want to check something, though. Apparently she's also a singer. Hmm. Okay. Um, Leland is the boy. Okay. Leland is the boy. Voiced by Yuma Uchida. I don't know if we heard his name at all during that, so I was wondering about him. Elena is Monica Iwami. Hirsch is Megumi Hayashibara. That's one I wanted to look up because that name sounds familiar. I feel like I've heard this name in various things. Let's see. What are some notable credits? Oh, Neon Genesis Evangelion as Rei. Okay. She is voiced Hello Kitty. Oh, female Ranma. Ranka, basically, is what people call her. In Ranma One Half. Faye Valentine and Cowboy Bebop. There's a big one. That's a big one. Again, something I watched in dub, but still. Any other things I would like really know her for? Young Genkai from Yu Yu Hakusho? Wow, okay. I've seen that in both sub and dub. I prefer the dub, though, personally. Oh, Hybera from Detective Conan? Well, I definitely know that. That's a big one too. Considering that's still going, like Jesus. Oh, Anna from Shaman King. That's fun. Hell yeah. A lot of Pokemon roles. Apparently, the voice of Jessie and Ash's Bulbasaur. Very specific. Yuri from Blue Exorcist. Rebecca in One Piece. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, this is Rebecca's VA? Oh, that's cool. I love Rebecca. Flora from Carol and Tuesday as well. There's another one. So she's been in a couple of Watanabe projects. And yeah, she's in Ranma Satome's female voice from the original and the current version of Ranma One Half. And that was Hirsch again, the leading lady one, the one who visited him in prison. Um, I don't think we've seen Abel. Dr. Skinner though is Koichi Yamadera. Ghost in the Shell. Oh, he was Sukaroku in Rakugo Shinju. Love that series. Beerus from Dragon Ball Super. That's fun. Oh, the current voice of Zenigata from Lupin the Third. Again, something I watch in dub, but still. He's the Japanese dub over artist for Will Smith's characters. That's fun. As well as Eddie Murphy and Jim Carrey. That's hilarious. Okay. That was Dr. Skinner, by the way, Koichi Yamadera. Yeah, I don't know if we've seen Abel. Oh, I think we saw him like very briefly, like super briefly. He's like a bald guy. I just looked up the character design. He's a bald guy. I think we saw him like super briefly. But I was wondering because I love Akio Otsuka. He's like Blackbeard and he's in Hunter x Hunter as sorry, I was moving the mic a little bit. He's in Hunter x Hunter as the one member of the fandom group. I can't think of his name right now. Oh my gosh, that's gonna bother me. Hold on. I still have the page up. I can just look him up here. Come on, Hunter x Hunter. Oh, he's also Kyoraku from Bleach. Shunsui Kyoraku. Yeah, Blackbeard from One Piece. Oh, he's All for One from My Hero Academia as well. He's in Vinland Saga. Oh, he's Wamu from JoJo. Yeah, he's definitely Wamu. Yeah, I can hear it. No, but there's like a specific character. Oh, he's Jigen in Lupin the Third. I believe that. But why? Of course, it didn't list Hunter x Hunter in his most famous roles. The one I was trying to think of. Let me see if I can find that here. Oh, he's in Trigun. Ghost Stories. Everyone thinks of the dub for Ghost Stories. Yeah, there's Blackbeard. Bato and Ghost in the Shell. Oh, he was in Samurai Champloo as Okuro. Oh, he was in Monster? Again, something I watched in dub, but... He was in the 2007 Devil May Cry. Naruto Shippuden. Hajime no Ippo, Durarara. Fate Zero. Oh, he was Blade in the Blade anime? That's great. Okay, here we go. Uvogin, that's his name. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. Uvogin. Yeah. He was also in Space Dandy. He's been in a lot. He's a pretty notable name too. He was also in he's in the Japanese voicing for what is it called? Ghost of Tsushima, the video game. He's in that as well. Dororo, he was Dr. Jukai in Dororo. Gus in Carol and Tuesday. Oh my god, he was Gus. Why did I just either not know that or did I forget about that? Again, I can definitely tell now, but like just thinking about it, I can hear it in my head. He's the director of Wise and Spy Family. He does a lot. He has a very recognizable voice though. He really does. Yeah, he absolutely is Gus, and I don't know if I either didn't know that or just forgot. Anyway, sorry for taking like 14 minutes just talking about the casting. Um, one hell of a cast though. Um, let's actually talk about the episode. Oh my god. Okay, so I might separate this out with a different time code just to mention that this is just talking about the cast. So we have Axel, who is a little shit. I believe the technical term is. He is a prisoner with a life sentence. We don't know exactly what he did to get that sentence, but we know he's broken out of prison before. This isn't his first time. And he's just kind of insane. He's willing to like go to crazy lengths to just, I guess, be free. I don't know what his overall goal is. I don't know what his motivations are. I don't know what his morality is. We haven't really gotten that far with it. This episode is mostly just kind of introducing him and showing us his personality and character without really going too deep into like what motivates him and what like creates who he is. You know what I mean. We're also introduced to the rest of Lazarus. So we find out at the end, Lazarus is this group, this organization that, at least right now, is dedicated to finding uh, the doctor. Why is his name escaping me? I had just said it multiple times and everything. Dr. Skinner. They're dedicated to find Dr. Skinner because 4 years in the past, Dr. Skinner created this miracle drug. It's a cure-all. It's just amazing. And it worked and everything, but suddenly he just randomly disappeared. And so now he suddenly reappears and tells people it was basically all this big social experiment, this big test. And they failed. Humanity has become dependent on it, has used its influence and everything to affect the environment negatively, and just all this crazy shit that, humanity would do. And because of this, he's he's basically deemed them unworthy in a way. And he says he's not doing it to like judge them, but he absolutely fucking is. He absolutely is. See, when he made this drug, he also made it very special because he's a genius. He's a medical pharmaceutical genius. He made it so that instead of like passing through the body like normal, it stays in your system and mutates after a certain period of time, which is these 4 years. It mutates into a 100% lethal poison that there is no known cure for outside of one that he personally has, or at least claims to. And he says that if you want to survive, you basically have, what is it, a month, 30 days to find him. And that's all he says about it. You have to find him. He doesn't give any hints. He doesn't say like what that means exactly or if there's any other aspect to it. You have to find him. Someone has to find him within these 30 days, or basically everyone is fucked because this drug, Hapna, has been used for like everything as a painkiller and stuff, and that means a lot of people have taken it. Probably a good majority of people. So this would be a catastrophic death toll if everything like really starts happening. And so Lazarus is trying to find him. And they're trying to recruit. We don't even know why yet, which will probably be revealed in the next episode. But they're trying to recruit Axel. Because apparently he's, the right person for the job, basically. That's all we can guess at this point. I mean, honestly, with as agile and everything as he is, I mean, maybe he is. I don't know. But we meet kind of all these different characters. Let me bring up the character list again just so I get their names all down. Okay, so we have Hirsch. Hirsch is kind of the lead bitch in charge. She is, or at least one of them. She's the one who goes to meet Axel at the prison and tries to recruit him. We don't know too much about her yet, but she seems to be very calm and collected under pressure and has set all of this up specifically to get to him. She knew how he would act and everything. She knew everything about him, as she made very clear. Then we have Doug. Doug seems to be kind of like in a way, the brains behind the operation. He seems to be the planning kind of guy, taking the lead on the strategy, at least from what we can tell so far. We have Chris, who is a very action-oriented lady. She's the one riding around on the motorcycle. She's the one shooting the gun at Axel to try and lead him in the right direction. She takes action. She's also very bubbly in terms of her personality, but also seems very cool and like strong-willed. After that, we have Elena. We don't see too much of Elena. She seems to be the techie, the one who's like in charge of like, the computer work and tracking things down and everything, all that kind of stuff. We don't see a lot of her, but she seems very cutesy so far. On that same hand, we also have Leland, who is this young boy. We see him leave the school because he sees no point in it anymore. But he's also a part of Lazarus as a drone pilot, which could definitely be used for a number of reasons, especially when you're searching for someone. Like, that seems actually very useful for tracking a person down. And that seems to be our kind of group for right now. There's also this Abel guy who I think we might have, like, very briefly seen. Outside of that, we don't really have, like, much of anyone else at the moment that I know of. But it's quite an interesting group of people. And I can already see a lot of inspiration in this series from Watanabe's previous works. You see definitely a lot of the the fluid motion and music stylings of like Cowboy Bebop. You see the design work is more modern Watanabe, very reminiscent of Carol and Tuesday. Um, you see a lot of the tone and vibe kind of meshes more with Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo, as I was saying it probably would in the pre thoughts. Not a lot to compare with with Space Dandy, because Space Dandy is very much its own thing. It's very different from Watanabe's other works, but nonetheless, like you can definitely see Watanabe's influence all over this. It very much reads as a series of his, and I'm very excited to see where this goes. Like, this was a strong first episode. It introduced us to these characters. I like them already. They're very interesting. Um, and yeah, it seems to take place in America, but it's not 100% clear exactly where. Um, unless it's said and I just somehow missed it, which is very possible. But yeah, I'm very curious to see like how this tracking mission is gonna go. From what I know, this is supposed to be just a one-off series, like Carol and Tuesday. It's not going to be like an ongoing thing. Um, I don't know exactly how many episodes it's set to have, but I very much see that this is going to be like a one-off, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with the series that's like short and just like its own thing, separate from like having multiple seasons or a longer running time, whatever else. It's like I'm fine with that. Sometimes shows don't need to go on too long, and sometimes you don't have to have anything more. Just have a short, concise, simple show that gets its point across, and kind of like expresses what it needs to. And speaking of expression, you see a lot of like Shinichiro Watanabe's kind of like footprint in that too in this series, with like the discussions on stuff like the environment and pharmaceuticals and whatnot. Like I said in the pre-thoughts, Watanabe tends to lean more towards progressive thinking and messaging with his shows. And you see that with this kind of stuff, with talking about stuff like the environment and pharmaceuticals, being a danger in a way. There's definitely going to be a lot more of that kind of stuff as we go along. And I'm very curious to see exactly what they discuss and how prevalent it is compared to other shows that he's done. But yeah, I have a lot of faith in this. Has a fantastic cast who are all like pretty well known. I'm gonna check out the dub for this first episode too. And if I end up liking it better, I might actually stick with the dub going forward, just because it's easier to find. Because, like I said, this was hell to find. It took so goddamn long just to find that first file. And then I kind of talked about it at the beginning of the reaction. I actually had to go back and find a second file. Because here's what happened. So I started the reaction the first time, right? It starts as normal. The subtitles are a little wonky, but it's like I can live with that. I've seen wonky subs before, like with link click and whatnot. But it's still working. And then all of a sudden the subtitles just stop. Like I think it's right around the first time Doug is shown, which is like right after the little intro exposition part. Um, the subtitles just stop completely and they never come back. I checked later on in the video file too. They don't come back. I don't know what happened. I had to download an extra sub file in the first place just to get subtitles to work. So it's like I took like 10 minutes trying to find another file for specifically the sub, and I couldn't find it. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to download BitTorrent and find a torrent file specifically for the sub with subtitles and everything, Japanese audio. And I did manage to find one. It seems like, again, like I was talking about, the comments in the torrent site were even talking about how like horrible this release has been in terms of finding the Japanese audio version. Because there are a lot of people, you know, who are haters of dubs, just professionally, practically. And so they were like, "Where's the Japanese audio one?" And it's like I found the one that had that, and it's like it also has English on the same file. It's actually like a big file that has the two different audio tracks and a bunch of different subtitle tracks. So that worked out really well in that regard. I ended up finding a good one. So I'm gonna check out the dub, see if I tend to like that a little more, and if I do, I'll switch to the dub starting with episode 2 because again, that's much easier to find and that's not gonna be as big of a problem. But if I prefer the Japanese version, which is very good, I love all the performances, then I'm going to stick with that as long as I can keep finding the episodes. Which again, I might just have to keep doing the torrent for, which is fine. I'm absolutely willing to if I have to. But yeah, it's like Jesus. It was so difficult just to find a copy of specifically the Japanese audio. Because again, I was finding the dub audio copy like not too difficult. It wasn't too difficult to find that. It was specifically the Japanese audio. And with subtitles to download with as well. That's important. But we'll see. I'll update you regarding that when we start next week's episode 2 reaction, obviously. Maybe I'll mention something on the Discord server. So I might talk about it a bit there, but we'll see. We'll see. In the meantime, I'd love to hear what you think about this first episode. Let me know down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.